India, the top rice exporter, has stopped sending its essential grain abroad, causing a global price hike and widespread concern. India, which accounts for over 40% of the world's rice exports, imposed a halt to its largest rice export category, leaving a substantial gap in the global supply. How will this affect the dinner tables and economies worldwide? Let's find out. Rice is a big deal. It's what fills the bowls for most folks around the globe, but now we've got a pinch in the supply of the no-frills, wallet-friendly white rice that's a staple in many poorer places. India, usually the one to ship loads of it out, has hit the pause button on exports, and it's causing a bit of a global frenzy. This move has created a domino effect, with a global supply gap of 10 million metric tons, although rival rice suppliers might raise exports by 3 million metric tons. When they hold back, prices everywhere start to jump, and that's got people worried. Over in the US, they're not happy about this one bit. They reckon India's been too generous with their rice farmers, creating a huge group that could sway votes. So the government keeps the subsidies coming to keep these farmers on the side, which shakes things up for other players in the rice field. The impact of India's decision is compared to that of the Ukraine war, indicating its potential to cause significant inflation fears. Despite this, America holds its own in the rice department, pumping out a hefty 20 billion pounds yearly, even as the climate throws curveballs their way. Growing rice is an art. It demands precision, especially when it comes to watering. And the story of rice isn't just about those special aromatic varieties. Places like Southeast Texas are powerhouses too, churning out heaps of grain. So while rice might seem simple, there's a whole world of complexity behind that steaming spoonful on your plate. In the patchwork quilt of American agriculture, rice holds its own special place. Across 3 million acres, it's cultivated in spots you wouldn't expect to thrive, turning less than ideal land into pockets of productivity. What's more, the rice grown in the USA mostly stays put, contributing to about 80% of the rice consumed in American households. This crisis is particularly acute as it has resulted in a steep 15 to 20% increase in rice prices, a surge not seen in nearly 12 years, affecting food stability in countries dependent on these imports. When you're munching on that breakfast cereal or spooning up your favorite dish at a local eatery, there's a good chance the rice came from a US farm. It's an unsung hero in our diet, popping up in a myriad of cuisines and even in the beer we drink. Ever heard of Anheuser-Busch? They're big on using US-grown rice for brewing. Farming rice in the States is a unique venture. Picture vast fields transformed into temporary lakes, a stark contrast to the sprawling dry lands they're nestled in. It's a clever dance with nature, manipulating the land so water flows just right, ensuring every drop is used efficiently. Now, the US isn't the world's rice basket, but it does play a solid role in the global rice market, even more so outside of Asia. Yet this isn't your straightforward trade. External shocks like pandemics and conflicts can stir economic troubles, nudging nations to tighten their export belts. Such moves aim to keep domestic prices down but can send worldwide costs soaring. India stands out in this global saga, shouldering a whopping 40% of the rice exports. When they decide to keep their rice, the ripples are felt from American farms to African dinner tables. It's a big deal. India's decisions can dramatically sway global rice availability and prices. India's rice export ban could also affect its standing in the global community, especially in relation to its role in addressing global food challenges, as it holds the presidency of the G20 in 2023. Yet India's choice to curb rice exports isn't made lightly. They've got a history of food security tightropes and are keen on keeping enough rice in reserve for their population. But when they withhold exports, it doesn't just protect their reserves. It disrupts the market and drives up prices, as seen in 2023 when they halted the export of a key rice variety. Rice farmers worldwide face a tough battle. The cost of doing business, think energy, fertilizer, and high-tech machinery, is sky high, and rice prices aren't keeping pace. This leaves farmers grappling to balance the books, in an era where agriculture is as much about technology as it is about tilling the soil. The ripples of India's export restrictions extend far, particularly affecting developing countries that rely heavily on this affordable grain. These nations, many in Africa and Southeast Asia, are hit hardest when India decides to keep its rice at home. This isn't the premium stuff. It's the low-cost, lower-quality rice that these regions depend on. And with over 42 countries leaning on India for more than half of their rice imports, the impact is profound. While the ban aims to bolster India's food security, it is expected to have far-reaching consequences, disrupting not only India's dominance in the global rice market, but also having a significant impact on the global agricultural community and on nations that rely heavily on rice imports for their food security. India has long been the bargain bin of rice suppliers, offering vast quantities at low prices. Countries in need could count on Indian rice. It was plentiful and got to market quickly. In some African countries, Indian rice dominates over 80% of their market. But it's not just about Africa. Even Indonesia, a titan in rice production, finds itself in a pinch, needing to import rice to meet its citizens' needs. The tightening grip on rice exports from India doesn't just push up prices. It stirs fears of a larger crisis. Food security is a global threat, and when one nation pulls too hard, the whole tapestry can unravel. It's a complex dance of supply and demand, where each move by a major player like India prompts a cascade of consequences, affecting millions who are just trying to put a simple bowl of rice on the table. India's recent halt on rice exports is stirring up global markets. This move, seen by some as politically charged, aims to cool down domestic rice prices amid rising food costs and looming elections. Prime Minister Modi's strategy is to keep more rice at home, hoping to ease the pressure on local wallets. Meanwhile, U.S. rice growers have been wrestling with their own challenges. Water shortages in California forced a massive cut in rice planting, slashing it by half in 2022 due to drought. Fortunately, nature's looking a bit kinder this year, with water levels rising and predictions of a 40% increase in rice yields. Yet, farmers remain on guard, as more water also means more pests and diseases to contend with. The financial strain on U.S. farmers hasn't gone unnoticed by the government. In a significant move, the feds dished out $250 billion in aid to help rice producers stay afloat amidst the squeeze of high expenses against unyielding rice prices. This relief is crucial for farmers, who pour everything they've got into their crops, hoping the market will be kind when it's time to harvest. USA Rice is advocating for even more robust support through the upcoming Farm Bill. They're pushing for policies that offer a safety net, not just for keeping rice affordable in the U.S., but also to hold a strong position in the competitive global market. Current USDA insurance programs offer a buffer, but USA Rice argues that more can be done. Rice farming is more than just a business. It's the lifeblood of certain American communities. In the main rice-growing states, each farm can inject a whopping $1 million into the local economy. It's clear the stakes are high, not just for the individual farmer, but for entire regions that depend on this vital crop. Looking ahead, rice prices could slide down by about 10% by 2024, which might lead to a surplus the following year. But the market's on edge, especially with India's recent export ban. If they reverse that decision, it could trigger a price plunge, shaking the foundation for rice farmers across the globe. So, what's the view from the ground? A Louisiana rice farmer summed it up. Each year is a high-stakes bet. They invest everything they own, and a little borrowed on top into their crop, hoping that in half a year, they'll be able to harvest and sell it for a good price. It's a bold venture, one that encapsulates the essence of farming, hope, risk, and the relentless cycle of seasons. As we've unraveled the complexities of the rice market crisis, it's clear the impact is far-reaching, affecting everything from local farmers to international relations. What are your thoughts on this global grain dilemma? How do you think it will unfold? And what should be the response? Share your views in the comments and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more insights and updates.